celebrating 20 years of EPI and CEPA, right? And we're going to talk about what does the next 20 years look like. Do you guys remember that magnet board outside where we asked people to write things on it? Like, what is this going to be in the next 20 years? So we're going to talk about this. I don't know if you guys know my story, but I began in the RV and campground industries because my best friend kind of got me in. Sometimes it's who you know, not what you know. And I worked heavily in the RV campground industry and became the CEPA for that industry. So I have been begging EPI to make me a 3 legs of the stool camping stool. Like, come on, guys, let's do something that kind of connects my story. But also, wouldn't it be really cool to just buy a camping stool that has personal, business, financial, and the CEPA logo on the seat? That would kind of neat, you guys, right? So today, at the Outdoor Hospitality Industries Conference, and I'm stumbling, you guys, because they changed the name and rebranded last year, and I can't get used to it. It used to be called RVIC, and we get together once a year, and we work with the campground and RV park owners in a conference like this, and it's huge. And you think our exhibit hall is cool? Their exhibit halls have cabins in them, like real cabins that you walk through. They're huge, and they're great people. But they have something called a fireside chat, okay? And they get their owners together, and they have a facilitator that talks about an issue, and they call it a fireside chat. Now, these fireside chats can have 10 people in it, or it can have 120, depending on what the subject is. And I've been the facilitator of them. I talk almost not at all, and they pass the mic around. What was fascinating was when Massachusetts legalized marijuana, and the whole thing was about, are we changing our culture because marijuana could be at our RV park? Fascinating, right? Or how about, what do you do about bed bugs? Something we don't have to worry about, thank you God, right? But so today, I'm here to invite Scott Snyder to have a fireside chat with me about the future of CEPAs for the next 20 years. Mr. Scott Snyder.
Amy, I brought the 3-legged stools
Yay.
that you've asked forever.
Thank
Just
you.
be careful. We don't need to be falling out of these damn things. But
well, that's not part of it.
She has quite literally asked me, I think, every conference and every CEPA program since I've met her, given the connection of camping, to bring her a 3-legged stool. So, there it is.
There we go, buddy. We didn't fall. Hey. All right, so we're going to have a fireside chat about the future of our industry, right? Yeah. So you've been here a while, and one of the things that, we're an education company, right?
Yeah.
EPI has worked really hard to make this the best education program there is in our industry. Tell me about the biggest change you've seen in our industry.
The biggest change in our industry, I think, well, gosh, I mean, you could go dive deep through the State of Owner Readiness Survey. One, I would say there's been a lot of change in who is the owner's most trusted and valued advisor, so I might go there for a little bit. I think another change that we've seen is the influence of younger generations and how they're looking to exit their companies. I think that has been really insightful since we released the survey as well. And I just think it's like the general awareness, like what the business owners panel that you saw just moments ago, they're following, 2 of them, right, are active owners following the value acceleration methodology and influenced by certified exit planning advisors like Julie Keys. And so I think that's really cool to actually see it all kind of coming together.
It is really cool. So let's talk about the next 20 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had the pleasure, which I don't get to do very often, to shepherd a family business through a transition sale this year, right? And in our latest survey, it talked about the lowering of the age, right? Like when I came in, we talked about it being baby boomers. You talked about that yesterday morning, and that we're really going to the next stage of sales and transitions, right? And this sale really, really reflected the 2023 owner survey. It was a second generation, and it was a 1.5 generation, really.
Yeah, one and a half.
But one and a
that
half
quite a bit.
generation, because their parents started it as their life after retirement business.
Yeah.
Their kids got involved. They grew it with them. They bought it from them. Tom Deans would be so happy. They actually purchased the company from them. And then the biggest competitor in the industry knocked on the door and went, knock, 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 knock. We want to buy you because you're stealing all our clients. Hey, does that sound like one of our case studies or maybe something we talk about in CEPA? And, you know, what was so cool is it super reflected those survey results because it changed, are you ready for this? These 40-year-olds' lives.
Exactly.
Oldest person in there was in their mid-40s. Youngest had just turned 40. Youngest, so the deal structure really changes when they're younger, right? Much more likely to take equity because they can grow with it. They don't have that, I've only, you know, I have to preserve every penny I have because I'm 80 and exiting the business. I'm young and I still have room to risk, right? And then the people that didn't do that had really a lot of financial security to dream, right? So how do you see that impacting our industry moving forward, if at all?
Well, I mean, I think there's going to be a huge impact with the younger generations, right? You heard it talked in John's keynote speech earlier this afternoon. I think that when you look at the State of Owner Readiness Survey and you look at those younger generations that have influenced that, about 43% of American businesses are owned by somebody that is in Generation X, right? So that upper, upper 20s to, or 40s to 50s, let's call them. And what I think is interesting about that, if you have to dive deeper into the survey, we asked that audience then, what did they want to do after the sale of their company? 77% of them, if you put it all together, there's three answers that were kind of all related. So 77% of that age group said, well, I want to start, buy, or invest in another business. And so for me, it's really coming full circle, is that the value acceleration methodology and building a significant company and exit strategy as business strategy, I think it's here to stay. I was doing a podcast with Rich Jackham when you guys were out in your breakout sessions, and he said kind of the dream that Dad and I had was that this would be taught in colleges and universities, and he said, you know, I think he's an academic kind of guy too, and he's like, I could totally see that, and especially after coming back and experiencing what has been built here at EPI and hanging out with nearly 1,000 certified exit planning advisors, he said, why shouldn't it be?
Right.
And I think you fast forward 20 years, that you quite literally will be learning how to grow and exit a company and align business, personal, and financial goals when you're going to undergrad, like when you're getting your business management degree. It's a core part of how a business is run and built. And I think that we're right on the start of that kind of mentality, right? So now we have highly educated advisors going out and meeting and working with owners like you saw on stage. But now imagine that those owners is just normal. It's like me. Like if you come to work with me and when you have conversations with me and Dad, like I get what you're saying. Now obviously I'm biased, right, because we own the Exit Planning Institute, but I joke about this sometimes, and maybe it will be my book one day, that I'm going to write a book called Growing Up Through the Value Acceleration Methodology. How to work with certified exit planning advisors, how to drive value into your company, and how to align your business, personal, financial goals. And so one day that'll likely be my book. But point being is, if I write that book at 45 or 50, you guys will all be working with me as a business owner still through a bunch of other exits that I likely have. So I think that you're seeing just the influence that it's had on the younger generations is that it's just becoming a way to run your business in your life.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to challenge you guys. So what does that mean for us as practitioners? If we're helping 40-year-olds sell businesses, when I went through CEPA, that was a one-time event. That was, we are going to be working with people in their 60s and their 70s, and, we only work with the owner one time. The only people that get to continually have a relationship is the wealth planners that are helping them manage and manage their wealth long term. That ain't gonna be so anymore. Hey, your M&A attorneys, the estate attorneys, your VAM advisors, we're gonna have continual relationships with these people. And that means you have to change your marketing and change your drip systems and change your engagement. We won't be a one and done anymore. That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of like you're here to stay, right? That's why I think the days of advisors doing transactions probably are gone. As we move into the 50-year-olds, the 40-year-olds, the 30-year-olds, even the 20-year-olds, we look for more relationships. And so I think that's one of the reasons you've seen like the financial advisors skip all the way from, frankly, being kind of unknown as the most valued advisor. Back in 2013, only 4% of business owners said that the financial advisor was their most trusted or valued advisor. Now that's up to, I think it's like 32%, putting you in the #1 spot. And I think naturally for the financial advisor, given the kind of the personal planning that you kind of have to do with owner two, you get to really dive deep in a more relationship-oriented way. And mentioning that, Amy, I think one of the other challenges, because you're kind of talking about challenges for us, it's that if I'm 40 or 45, or hell, what if I'm like 35, and I come into a bunch of money because I had a successful transition. For me, what's quite literally, so I'm 39 years old. If my wife is here, I always say that I'm 40 because I want to round up and sound cool, right? I always think like I get more respect when I'm older. But I'm 39, and my wife will tell you this too. My biggest fear is growing a highly valuable business that is transferable, ready, and attractive, coming into money, and not knowing how to be a steward of that money, and raising 3 wealthy, bratty-ass kids.
Welcome to my business.
It is just like a fear. So
Yeah.
you're kind of talking to me behind stage too, like what's on your mind as an owner, and listening to these 4 owners that were up here. To me, it's like that. I feel really confident in the business side. I feel real confident on my personal planning side. My worst leg of the stool, if you will, is the financial side. And the education that you guys could give me is, so do you come into a few $1 million, like how does that change you and Joy's life? And how does it change your kid's life? And my son Jet, who's 11 years old, had said to me the other day, he's like, Scott, I think I want to run your and Papa's business someday. And I was like, I don't know if we're going to be the owners when you're of age to come into this business. He's like, oh, don't you just like give it down to the other generations? I was like, well, you should meet this guy, Tom Deans. And so, but yeah, little 11-year-old Jet now is getting a taste of entrepreneurship, and I think of honestly like the challenges and stuff that he faces. So, anyways.
So, our survey showed a drop in some of the like stacking of trusted advisors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
But one of the advisors that's consistent is spouse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Spouse shows up.
Yeah.
So, do you think we need to address that?
I think it's like an interesting thing when you talk about 20 years in the future, too.
Right.
I think with the DriveValue.com campaign, this is where I think, when I say it's the DriveValue.com is a central hub for the business owner and the people that surround the business owner, not necessarily the advisor, but that internal team. That might be somebody like Paige or Josh Koza or Jocelyn, my directors, right, at API. Or for me, it might be Joy, my wife.
Right.
And given that it absolutely impacts her, the decisions that I make in the business, I think we should start educating everybody around us as well, because I do. I mean, we talk almost every day about business. She always says, like, when I come through that door and for dinner time, she either say, like, I have a sagging face, so I've had a really shitty day, or a smiling face because we did something cool. She sees the stress on my face. And so educating her around what we know,
Right.
I think is also...
And we heard that on the stage.
Yeah, we did.
Wife became the CEPA, right?
Yeah.
Drove conversations, right?
Yeah,
We
Michelle.
just heard that. What I'm going to ask all of you to think about is, you know how we have owners forums for owners? Should we have spousal forums for spousals of owners?
Sure.
Is that something we should really start innovating? Yes. And I think about Justin, Goodbread's challenge. Are we going to just be mediocre? What did he say?
Mediocre.
Mediocre?
Yep.
Or are we going to go to mastery?
Yeah.
All of you can go and dream about the next 20 years of this business. How do we become masters of our talents? masters of knowledge, create new knowledge in this industry. So we had a board up where we asked people where the next 20 years is going to be.
Watch out, these might catch on fire.
Oh my gosh. All right. So I'm going to read you a couple. I just could do a couple, right? So it says, take exit, stream it worldwide. We will dominate. We will be fueling a change in business law firm practicing. So I was really excited about that because, being a retired lawyer, it's kind of nice to hear that law might actually think about changing in the next 100 years. Exits are a reoccurring part of business operations. Yep. It is not a one-time thing. We will reach 30,000 CEPAs in 20 years. Woohoo! We'll be doing exits on the moon, Alice.
Yeah, with Elon, we're going to go up there.
Yeah. So, hey, I can't thank you guys enough for your attention, your love, your education, your sharing, and being part of one of the most amazing communities I've seen. Please come to our social at the reflection pool. I am so tired, I can't pronounce the word reflections. And thank you for putting up with my newbie punching above my weight being the MC. Thank you, Scott Snyder, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Amy. We'll see you guys outside of the pool.